All right, so today I wanted to talk to you about stepping outside of your comfort zone, making uncomfortable decisions, or even like dealing with changing your lifestyle, as the title is, as you can see, right? And the reason for this is because I I see a lot in, usually women don't tell me this, but like I do read it in other people's comments and in like groups and things like that, where women are complaining, are um, lamenting that you have to change or they have to change their lifestyle, right? They have to change so much about themselves. They have to change their habits, their routine, and they have to make these like uncomfortable decisions um, that basically they don't feel like they should have to do, right? And so this video is for you if you feel any of those ways. If you feel like improving your fertility is requires you to change things about yourself or about your life in a way that you really don't feel comfortable with, right? So basically changing your lifestyle, right? And dealing with that. And so the thing about, well, before I even get that far, let me just sort of share my understanding of why it's hard, right, to want to change your lifestyle when you are faced with fertility, right? Because when I was on my own journey of trying to heal my womb, and when I say heal my womb, I mean like I had excruciatingly painful periods. I've had my period ever since I was 9 years old. Some of the worst cramps you could ever imagine. And my periods, it got to the point where I felt like I was bleeding almost for like the entire month, or at least maybe like 3 weeks out of the month. And I was young when it really got worse. But I was still like tracking on my calendar when we had the wall calendars. I was still you know, keeping up with it. Like it was unavoidable. But I do remember sometimes my period like definitely lasting for at least like 2 weeks. As soon as it ended, I got another one spotting in between, and just so much pain. The only relief that I would have was, sometimes when my brother would make me tea, and I would drink the tea, and I would feel all right. Sometimes it'd be like chamomile tea, or whatever other tea my mom had in the cupboard. But usually, I think it was more like a chamomile or like a Earl Grey or like an orange pekoe. Those teas from back in the day. That's what my mother had, and whatever he made, that's what gave me some relief outside of you know um, doing some other TMI stuff where I was like finally like relief, right? But so with that, you know, if you had told me, well, you have to drink this tea every day if you want these period pains to go away, I probably would have saw that as a task or something that I had to do. I probably would have put up some resistance. I probably wouldn't understand, like, why do I have to drink tea in order for this to go away permanently? Not what I probably believed that it would have, been the solution. But at the same time, I also was young, so I probably would have did whatever the hell you told me to do to get rid of those period pains, because they really, really, really did hurt, and I was bleeding for a long time. And later I found out when I actually did like have my children, my like first and second daughter, I was anemic, right? And so all that leading up until that point was taking a toll on my blood count, my health, and things like that. And I think it even got to the point, the reason why I say I think is because I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but I think that my my status as far as like my blood health, I think that it got to the point where I became, or like, okay, let me put it this way. Out of the blue, out of nowhere, okay, my midwives tell me on like my either my second, it couldn't, one of my children, they told me that I had the trait for sickle cell out of nowhere. Mind you, I've been going to the doctors with my mom ever since I was a child. Um, I've never heard nowhere in my family about like my father having the trait for sickle cell or my mom having the trait for sickle cell. And so out of nowhere, they tell me I have the trait for sickle cell. I don't know if that could be from all of the blood loss and whatever is going on. But anyways, let me get back to the point, right? So eventually, that went from me, drinking little teas and finding some resolve and, using the washroom and having some relief. Till eventually I started to change my lifestyle because I was becoming Rasta, right? Because I am Jamaican and I've been to Jamaica several times and I was always drawn to the Rastafarian culture. So I was becoming Rastafarian myself. And so I was switching my diet, not to mention that I had a traumatic experience when I was in Jamaica and I saw them killing the goats and the chickens and they were still clucking and bawing or whatever sound goats make and they were still moving, and that traumatized me. So it kind of like was like a precursor to me becoming vegetarian. So anyways, I eventually started to become vegetarian, okay, partly because of wanting to sort of eat better. And I can't say it was 100% Rastafarian because where I was working, I was also able to like eat free food. And so anyways, and eventually I became vegetarian. And part of it was to deal with my reproductive issues because I was also diagnosed with what can we call it? What do we call this thing here? Abnormal uterine cells. Okay, and so on my way out of the hospital where they like had did some tests, on the way out of the room, there were some pamphlets on the wall, and one of them said that I could heal my issue, like the exact issue that I had, that I could heal that by changing my diet to a more vegetarian. Well, they didn't use those words. They just said eat more fruits and vegetables. So that combined with the fact that I wanted to become Rasta led me to starting to eat healthier, right? And so the only takeout that I would eat was this was falafels from this Mediterranean restaurant that just so happened to be across the street from my neighborhood. Okay, and so I would go there. Okay, so fast forward just for a bit, we come to find out that Mediterranean food is closely linked to better fertility. So anyways, let's go back. Right, so I started doing that. And then eventually 10 years later, I finally became vegetarian. Okay, so when I became vegan, I finally became vegan. So when I finally became vegan, majority of the period pains and the other issues that I had went away. When I became vegetarian, my abnormal uterine cells returned back to normal. I didn't need to go through the surgery. When I became vegan, my long periods finally shrunk down to about 3 to 4 days. Okay, that was mind blowing because I never experienced anything like that. I had definite 7 to 9 day periods before. When I became vegetarian, they started going to like 5 days. Then when I became vegan, 3 to 4 days. Okay. So here's the thing. In my specific situation, nobody was there to tell me, hey, you have to eat a certain way. You have to change your lifestyle. And you have to make all of these, healthy choices and lifestyle decisions in order to heal, your abnormal uterine cells, in order to resolve your excruciatingly painful periods, your long painful periods, your heavy bleeding. Nobody was there to tell me that. And so when it comes to fertility, right, you already are faced with, boom, you're going to have reproductive issues. You're challenged with, you might not be able to have a baby, right? And so someone telling you, look, in order to deal with this, you need to do X, Y, and Z. Improve your diet, practices, exercises and activities, change your mindset, and take care of yourself better, right? that that just seems like, oh, so you're telling me that I'm not good enough because I'm not doing all of these things. Meanwhile, so and so, she can do whatever she wants and she's still able to have a baby. I get that, right? My situation, being that we didn't have social media. Okay, I didn't have social media when I was younger, which is key because I noticed with social media, you post, if you get in there and you type, why do I have to change my lifestyle so much? Guess what's happening? Everybody in that group, everybody on that thread who feels the same way, who also doesn't understand, who also doesn't have, you know, certain amount of guidance, a certain amount of experience, a certain amount of direction or clarity or coaching or anything from anybody else who's been down that path or who has been able to help anybody else out of that, they're going to jump in and they're going to validate those your arguments. Not only are they going to validate the arguments, though, they're going to they're going to solidify that you don't need to change. You don't need to do anything about it. This is just a disease. It's unfair. All of these things, that's not really going to give you a solution. That's not really going to give you a way out. And sure, it will make you feel good, for the time being. Someone understands you. You're not the only one. But is, 15 other women also saying, hey, we shouldn't have to change, is that going to help you? No, it's not. It's not going to help you, right? But like I was saying, in my personal situation, I sort of evolved into this, right? It took like over 15 years for me to go from 9 years old with these serious painful periods to in my teens starting to become vegetarian and, seeing some results, not needing surgery, healing, the abnormal uterine cells too. In my 20s, becoming vegetarian and painful periods are completely gone. Periods are just 3 to 4 days. Fibroid done healed in 2 months, just gone. Fibroid gone. I didn't even know it was gone until I felt for it and it was like gone. Okay, that took time, right? But what if there's a way for you to, yes, change a lot about yourself, right? But you can get the results a lot quicker. That's what's available to you, right? When you can understand, again, why you need to make these decisions and why you need to change your lifestyle. Because, again, you don't have to wait 15 years like I did. You don't have to go, make these slow, gradual progressions to get to the end result that you're trying to get. And on top of that, your result is, again, trying to have a baby, right? So your reward could be even greater than it was my situation. Now, in my situation, I definitely had periods of time where I could not have a baby for nothing, okay? And the man I was with, he even had a baby with somebody else. Meanwhile, I was there sitting looking, looking, I'm just going to say looking, right? But anyways, so, I consider that a period of infertility because I was dealing with a lot of like different stuff, but I'll talk about that in another video. But anyways, so I get the not wanting to change your lifestyle, right? But there is something beautiful in that. Like there's something good in that because you can get faster results when you do certain steps. Whereas if you, again, just stick with this, why do I have to change my lifestyle? I don't want to change my lifestyle. I don't want to make those decisions. I don't want to do those things. If you do that, 15 years later, you're more than likely going to be in the same predicament and situation. Okay, so I kind of went ahead of myself a little bit by just like getting to the point of, well, you know what, if you make these changes, you can get faster results and you can get greater rewards. I want to go back just a little bit, right? And I just want to sort of dive back into why you may not want to make those changes. right? Well, for one, there there's a comfort and familiarity about, you know, doing what you've been doing, about doing what your family members, your friends, your acquaintances, people on social media, everybody that you know that you associate with is doing. If they're all eating whatever they feel like that day, that feels good. You know, when you can do the same thing, you're not going to feel like an outsider. You're not going to feel different. Nobody's going to make fun of you for eating rabbit food, right? Nobody's going to judge you for doing anything outside of the norm, okay? For your circle. Remember, this is just the norm for your circle. The norm for, you know, being in the West, the norm for eating things here, right? And that's just with diet, right? When it comes to other things, like maybe even like physical activity, because this is another thing that comes up is like, hey, you know what? Again, there's been links that, again, your BMI and your weight can affect your fertility. Some people would argue differently. I'm just going to leave that there, right? So you may have heard that, you know what, you may need to exercise, you may need to lose weight in order to improve your fertility, right? Again, that's something that can be uncomfortable. That can be something that you do not want to do. Why should you have to do it? But it's not necessarily just that you don't want to do it, but it could also be, again, what is your social influence going to be like? Like, you know, maybe you've seen another family member or friend start exercising, start working out, start watching their calories, and they're ridiculed for it, you know? Their mother, you know, whoever it may be, aunties, okay, friends, family, ooh, you trying to, you know, look better, blah, 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 or, you know, excuse my hair, y'all. I was, anyways, we're not gonna talk about that, but yeah. So, you may be made fun of for wanting to improve your weight, okay, your shape, whatever the case may be, right? So there's a lot of other dynamics that come into you changing your lifestyle that at least I feel are the reason why you may not want to change. Okay? Because otherwise, why wouldn't you want to improve your diet? Why wouldn't you want to improve your lifestyle? Why wouldn't you want to improve your mindset? Why wouldn't you want to take care of yourself better in order to improve your fertility? Sure, it may not seem fair. It may seem as though other people are just, other women are just doing whatever they feel like and they're able to conceive. But really, we don't know what other people are doing, or you may not know, right? What other people are doing. What affects someone else may not affect you, and what affects you may not affect someone else. And by that, I mean, like, there may be certain, like, someone else may have a better, put it away from me. Somebody else may have a better metabolism. Okay, so when they go and they eat, you know, all of the junk, they may digest it better. Whereas if you do so, again, it may accumulate in your body and may throw your hormones off. Okay, may throw, you know, maybe your gut health balance and other things off to the point where it creates blockages, it creates inflammation, and, you know, there's no way that your body feels that it is safe, or it is right, or it is the time for you to have a baby, right? Or for a baby to grow inside of you, right? And so it's totally understandable that, hey, this could be embarrassing, you know, making these changes could go left. It could cause a lot of stress. It could cause a lot of heartache. It could cause literal rifts in your relationships with people, okay, that you're very, very close to. But at the end of the day, you know, you do need to make a decision as to, like, oh gosh, what is that? As to what you really want. You know, do you want to continue to, you know, be in the same position and situation you're already in? I'm looking for my supplement. I don't know what I did with it. I don't know if I picked it already. I'm gonna have to watch the video. But yeah, Anyways, I'll take another, like, lost it or something. But, oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So, anyways, you do have to make the decision whether that's a place where you want to stay at. Are you comfortable? Is it more comfortable to be where you're at? Is it more comfortable to be, struggling with fertility? Is it more comfortable to be trying to conceive? Is it more comfortable to be, dealing with whatever you're dealing with, fibroids, endometriosis, painful periods, um, amenorrhea, dysmenorrhea? For me, it was not. For me, when I look back, I realized that I probably had either endometriosis, PCOS. I know for sure I had at least a fibroid in my breast. My mom had fibroid in her womb area, so who knows? I could have also had that. I feel like I wasn't just bleeding just to be bleeding. I know that. Something else is going on because when I look back at like the symptoms of like fibroids and PCOS, I really feel like I aligned with symptoms I had aligned with really all three: endometriosis, PCOS, and endometriosis, PCOS, and fibroids. So I don't know what really shook me at the time too was I had a friend that I helped get a job where I worked at, and whew, when I tell you when she got period, she outdid me. I was like, I thought mine were bad, and this girl, she had to take days off of work, whereas I would just push through it and really just bear the pain, and wasn't easy. But when I saw my friend, I was like, oh, so this can get really ugly. This can get really, really ugly. And we're both young, like in our teens at the time, and I saw the pain that she dealt with, and I was like, ooh, I better eat this salad. That's how I was. I was like, I better eat this salad, right? And so, I did that. And again, remember, this is a time when there was no social media. I couldn't go in a group, and maybe I could. I think Facebook was around, but it wasn't popular. I was probably like 15, 16 around this time, and there was no social media. Me and my friends weren't talking about our periods, our abnormal uterine cells, our fertility. We weren't talking about this stuff. So I really did have to figure this out. And I stepped out of that hospital. There was a pamphlet right there that said, look, you can heal this situation just by eating more, plants, dark leafy greens, fruits and vegetables, improving your diet and your lifestyle. Now, I interpreted to the way I saw it. There was no further information. There was no dive deeper. There was no coaching. There was no support. There was no community. There was no examples to even prove that what I was reading in this pamphlet were true. It could have just been filler on the wall just to make the hospital look cute. I didn't know. Again, no social media. All I had, let me tell you what I had. I worked at a very busy location in a busy train station central type of location, like where everything, like all the buses, all the trains, everything, plus it was downtown. Okay. I worked there. So there would be like conferences, or not conferences, what am I saying? There would be, I don't know how to explain this. Like they would, like every maybe like couple weeks or months or something like that, there would be different I want to say vendors, or like just different events, different things would be happening. Sometimes they'd be filming movies outside, sometimes inside they would be doing these things. So anyways, every now and then they would have like these book sales. They would come and they would just sell books. And so that's what I had. On my break or before or after work, I would go and I would skim through the books, because they had health books. Okay, they had a lot of books that would just teach you, how to heal this, or how to improve this, or how to have better health this way, or this diet, or this type of activity, this thing you could do. And mind you, none of them were specifically geared towards fertility. I just sort of gathered a lot of the information dealing with health, And then on the side, I would like read certain things about like natural makeup and natural skincare and natural beauty. And I put all it together. And I was like, okay, this is how I'm gonna, improve my diet. And plus in school, I was very much into nutrition when I was actually in school, and learning about like how you have to have a certain amount of protein, carbs, and fats and things like that. And so my little brain just put it all together and be like, okay, we're gonna eat some salad at lunch. We're not gonna, totally eat all of the meat because, mind you, where I worked, we were one manager at least. We were able to eat, drink, do whatever we wanted. Okay, until the other manager shut down. She was like, no, you're not. But anyways, with that, for a very long time while I was there, I was able to eat healthy, at least while at work. That's when I started to like eat soy, which I know people don't agree with, but I have my reasons for why I don't see soy as the devil. But I was doing that instead of eating, meat burgers and things like that, or okay. And so, that's all I had. I just had the little bit of, health, ultra, health geared books that they would have on display during these little events or conventions that they had outside of my workplace. And then the pamphlet that I got from the hospital. I didn't have no groups. I had no support. I didn't have nobody being like, this is how I healed my period pain, or this is how I healed my fibroid, or this is how I got rid of this weird abnormal, uterine cell. Okay, and so let me talk about the uterine cell. Okay, and so let me talk about the abnormal uterine cells for a minute. I don't think some people understand how serious that could be when it comes to fertility, or like what other fibroids, things like fibroids, endometriosis, they stem from damaged cells. When your cells are like just literally cutting it out or freezing, options that were giving me. But anyways, I didn't want to do any of those, and so I really was. I got serious in just trying to stick to a healthier diet, right? And so they were serious about it. And they gave me one more test to verify it, and then by the time I did that test, luckily they told me that everything was resolved, my abnormal, and that was my confirmation. Like that was all the evidence, all the testimony that I had. There was nobody to be like, oh, this worked for me. I had to make it work for myself, right? And so, you do in your own life have to determine what is comfortable for you, what is unfair, and what decisions you're going to make, because you're going to have to make some decision. You're going to have, your lifestyle is going to change, period. It's already changing. It's already moving in one direction. It could be moving towards greater health. It could be moving towards more fertility. It could be moving towards, a greater, outlook on long-term health, or it could be moving towards hysterectomy. It could be moving towards surgery. It could be moving towards, intrusive, again, procedures. Okay. Right. And so I get that, it can be hard to definitely try to figure out how you're going to improve your diet, or sorry, your life on your own. Again, being with when it comes to diet, lifestyle, self-care, mindset. I get that these things can be hard, especially, when you're doing it on your own. I also see how powerful peer pressure could be on social media to not change. Okay, let's acknowledge that for a second. Don't you find it suspicious that when you post a comment like that, everybody will agree? And yes, I am live. I am live. So, but yeah. So, don't you find that suspicious that everybody will agree with you that you should not have to change your lifestyle, rather than, okay, this is what I continually keep hearing. Maybe I should look into this a little more. You know, maybe my current lifestyle is the reason, is the cause of this. Maybe the current lifestyle, the current situation is it. Because let's be honest, what I see is women, a lot of women thinking that are really wanting, like just hoping, just wanting, and there's variations to it. Really thinking that we should be able to do whatever. We should be able to eat whatever we want. We should be able to whatever we want, behave however we want. We should be. This is just a medical condition. Cure. There's nothing I can do about this. Well, for you, that's what you believe. That there's nobody can tell you anything different. You know, who have been through the same situation or can offer solutions. Right? And so I was going to say that, like, however, I really do feel like our ancestors had it the best because, you know, they had really tight-knit communities. They also had certain rituals and certain practices that they held sacred that I believe helped to, you know, stave off the fertility issues that we have now. Because, you know, infertility isn't high amongst, especially amongst Black people, or sorry, 2020, because it helped me to know whether I should pause. If I cut off, let me know I cut off. Let me know you can hear me completely without any breaks, right? But it's my strong belief that I would say understanding my strong knowledge, I will go even further, understanding my strong knowledge, I will go even further to say prove me wrong, in certain instances, like Western lifestyle, we are today. We continue down this path. The very, very prevalent negative thoughts and habits, even and especially around improving your diet and your lifestyle, right? If that, okay, my connection's messed up. Well, I'll just repeat myself a couple times. Hopefully it'll get picked up, right? And so the thing is, I live in pretty much I'm in a very wooded area, and we have these like cicadas. I think they're called cicadas. Their cicadas will literally shut my Wi-Fi down. That is how strong nature is. When these things are humming, okay, and I can hear them now. They're not always making this sound, but when they're doing their thing, I can just forget internet. But anyways, I also feel the same way about like this generational deficit. Okay, I see it works both ways. The other side, like I hope you can follow me. The other side, I'm going to go off on a tangent just a little bit here, right? So on one end, I believe that, you know, the more and more we continue with this unhealthy diet and lifestyle, not wanting to change. I also believe that the reason with herbs, and I have other herbs that are colored. My herbs are colored, they're green, hints of gray, speckled, some are like brownish. It's just so ginseng, so it's whitish. Now let's take turmeric. Turmeric is I might have to switch. Well, I'm gonna see what the somebody else. I don't need Wi-Fi right now. So anyways, with certain turmeric, for example, with this often, you know, the most potent effect from taking the herb. If this is like a general mentality about everything we're doing, you know, so yeah, right. And so with getting back to, you know, not wanting to change your lifestyle or feeling like it's unfair that you have to change your lifestyle, you know, it's like you just got to make that call. You know, you just got to make that call. You got to weigh out the good, the pros. Thank you for the likes. please like the video. But yeah, you gotta weigh out the pros and the cons of, what is it that you want. Okay. Because if that's what it's gonna take for you to get the result that you want, then why not go 12 weeks or 90 days, which could be like 13 weeks. Not just because my programs are 12 weeks and some of them, but because that is the amount of time that it pretty much takes for your eggs, okay, to go from dormancy into ovulation. And so with that said, that's how much time it takes for you to improve your egg quality, or for you to have an effect on your egg quality. Now, again, just a general time frame. It can happen much quicker if you're willing to make a much greater change, if you're willing to make a greater impact on your diet, mindset, lifestyle, right? That time frame can be shortened to like, maybe 8 weeks or 2 months or whatever, or condensed to however much you are able to make that impact. I've heard of, some women being able to, dramatically improve their egg quality in a much shorter time frame. But again, it does take consistent, action, consistent, and very specific and strategic steps in order to do that. Okay, but for the most part, especially if you're dealing with changing lifestyle and doing things you don't really want to do, at least give yourself a time frame, right? Give yourself a time frame and say, okay, well, I'm at least going to do this for this long, and then I'll give myself a break. And I'm going to say you probably are not going to want to break after you do the things that it really, really takes to improve your fertility naturally. Now, if you're in these things to improve your fertility and you're doing it with IVF, drugs, medication, I am 100% there for you. Nope, I shouldn't have to do that. Absolutely. It's not fair. No, why should I have to change my life? Why should I have to take those nasty pills? Why should I have to inject my abdomen with these needles? No, hell no. But if we're talking about the natural method, do something that is not only going to have an beneficial effect, not only on your fertility, but on your overall health, beauty, appearance, mindset, energy, stamina, everything. Why wouldn't you want to do that? I will go as far as to say the reason why you do not want to make the changes because you don't even know like just how beneficial they are. And I'm not judging, and this is not to ridicule or get on your case or anything, but I'm saying if you knew what some of these activities were for natural goals, you might actually want to do them. You might crave them. You might desire to do them. But again, these solutions are hidden from us. The natural solutions are hidden. They are not secret. They are kept away from us. And to some degree, we forgot them. We just don't know about them. We've been, for the most part, things like milk thistle, things like oat straw, and things like that. These are like natural plants. They're not disturbing your natural homeostasis or digestive system or nothing like that. I mean, some of them, they can make you go to the toilet, which is a good thing. It can be a very good thing. I saw one woman, she made a TikTok and she said that one of the reasons why some people believe that Metamucil, because what they think, right? And she went through the ingredients. I think she's another fertility coach, so I can't remember her name. If I find her, I could maybe put her right here or something. She said, it's not because of, just because it's Metamucil, it's because it has like a laxative in there or something in there that makes you use the bathroom. And so because you're using the bathroom, more frequently than you normally do, you're clearing away stuff, right? And so I'm gonna go as far as to say you're clearing away toxins, you're clearing away, blockages, inflammation, and things, they're not able to build up and accumulate in your body as much. And so you're flushing that out of your system, right? And so, when you're consuming things and doing things that are naturally through your body, blood and, lymph fluid and flushing toxins out and things like that, you create a better environment for your hormones to be, produced, for your hormones to go where they need to go and do what they need to do, and for, unnecessary toxins to be eliminated out of your body. Okay, and for there to be like a constant fresh supply of blood. So even with your tubes can become blocked if there is like poor circulation. So these changes that you don't want to make, are these natural unhealthy changes? Natural unhealthy changes. I'm sorry. Are these natural healthy changes? Are the unnatural potentially, at least knowingly, that's not opted for? So yeah, again, be careful if you are opting for these surgeries and these things. So, anyways, really outline what is the change that you don't want to make. So that's your assignment for today. What are these changes that you don't want to make? List them out one by one. Otherwise, are we just parroting things that we hear other women say in the comment section or on videos or whatever the case may be? Are we just parroting that, you know, why do I have to change my lifestyle? Why do I have to change what I'm eating? Why do I have to switch my diet? Why do I have to exercise? Are we just parroting that? Like, we gotta be a little clear, just get a little bit more clarity. Are you sure you stop wearing makeup or not wear certain brands or not wear certain, products because they disrupt your hormones as well? I'm not like, do you have the information behind that? Because I think if you did, you would appreciate and understand what's called cosmetic industry is able to use, is unregulated, so it's able to use chemicals that are byproducts from so in your makeup, right? So are you sure you want to not try to get cleaner makeup? Because I've been on this journey. I've actually just started recently wearing makeup, and that is, one of my focuses is just to have natural organic makeup, which my foundation is not really, my children come in on it. I want to stop smoking. Why do I have to stop smoking? I know you're not saying this if you're watching my videos. I know if you follow me, you're not having that conversation with your head and on social media. Why do I have to stop smoking to have a baby? Leave. I'm sorry. I don't like to. I see other YouTubers doing it. Just come off my channel. This is not for you. We can't puff while we doing fertility yoga. Where are you gonna put the cigarette? You're gonna burn some. You're gonna burn the yoga mat. Okay. You're gonna burn the baby. The baby. I can't. Are you sure you don't want to give up alcohol? You sure you don't want to stop drinking? You sure you don't want to get drunk? So that way you can have a baby? Which one's more important? Which one? Are you sure you don't want to stop over stressing, thinking negatively? Are you sure you don't want to improve your mindset? Are you sure you don't want to be happier, live in more joy, attract more abundance to you? Are you sure you don't want it? So we got to know, what is it that we are not wanting to change? Because some of that is just like rhetorical speak. It's just repetitive. We're not giving too much thought into it. We hear somebody else complain and we complain until we hear some people from other races that don't look like us, that may be more entitled, that definitely don't feel like they should have to change a dang thing. And then we want to adopt that mentality. You serious? So yeah, you use so that's what it is. They was on me. They get on there and keep going that. You better read it as well. Anyways, make decisions. That's when I feel like women are saying this, they're not giving any examples. They're not giving any examples of saying other things, like they don't want to change, they're not trying to change, but at the same time, they're not also being very specific. So, if this is you, I hope this video is reaching you who maybe have found yourself, repeating some of those things. I don't want to change. Why should I have to change? I hope this video can offer you some clarity as to, helping you to, understand that there is a difference, between improving your fertility naturally and improving your fertility with conventional medicine, being art, IUI, and things like that. There's a difference. So be clear on what it is you don't want to change, and you have that right. You can choose You're willing to do what you're not willing to do. I am not taking that away from you. Um, but I want to say, with the natural, there are, right? So be clear on what it is that you don't want to change, because I've never seen that yet, right? And so outline that, right? And so that way I will see you in another video. And yeah, so yeah, if you want to know how to work with me, I do have a free training in my description. Make sure to watch that. It's actually a mini workshop. Make sure to watch that mini workshop, and then if you want to go deeper, make sure that you apply for that. So I will see you soon, and I am out. Bye bye.